Loud. All right. So there you go. Okay, so our agenda, we're going to go on through the welcome. We're going to talk about expectations, the merger, submissions, the editorial Bible, the AP style guides, engagement and sharing, invoicing, and last but not least, and I'm sure you will have questions and comments, make sure you ask all of those at the end. Definitely opening up the floor for that. So let's go ahead and get started. And just a reminder, any information disclosed today is confidential. Oh, actually, wait a second. All right, so yeah, we're starting because Yvette is also running behind. Okay, so any information disclosed today is confidential. So let us continue. But before we get into all of the business stuff, let's break the ice. How are we feeling today? Just write in the chat box. Which Cardi are you today? I know I don't look like a two, but I'm a two.
I'm a crazy one.
Let's see how we're feeling. Vanessa's a six. Vanessa Diaz, wait. Okay. I'm a so. Janet is a two. Okay. Great. Vanessa. Okay, a lot of twos here. Okay. Okay, Erica, 5 and 6. Okay. I can feel like I'm between a 2 and a 5 too. All right. Okay, I think we got everyone in.
Hey,
So
Giselle, can you record, please?
it is recording.
Oh, is it? Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
No worries.
Okay, so it's great to see how everyone is feeling. I'm gonna try to get y'all at 6 though. Okay. All right. So expectations. So let me take away all these windows up here. Mm. So our expectations, are based in our editorial Bible, which all of you have access to. But nonetheless, I'm going to share another folder later on in the meeting where you're going to have, easier access to this. As you already know that BELatina features ambitious journalism. Everything is woman centric, and making sure that, when we're writing or whenever we're trying to figure out, who is it that we're talking to, we're talking to those people who feel empowered by, like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. We're also, focusing on those girls who are also, looking up to Eva Longoria and even Cardi B. You just want to make sure that you get, I guess, an entire global aspect of what we're writing about. And of course, we've been doing that, for the past 2 years. And I think all of you, here are some of the examples. All of you have great writing, but these are some examples of, why we're so unique. We want to make sure that we are pushing, the envelope, and we are, trying to be different from whoever our competitors are. Okay. So, and then following up, we also want to be accessible, and something that Lisa went ahead and did, which is, everyone knows that Lisa Cavalli is the founder of BELatina, our fearless leader, and we're gonna give her a moment momentarily. But she wanted to make sure that everything was accessible, no paywalls or anything, and we want to give our audience the opportunity to learn as much information as possible that is happening not only in the Latino, Latinx, or BIPOC community, around their community, right? So that's something that I think you should all feel very prideful in, because it's something that we've all been doing, thus far. So we're gonna go ahead and continue on that route. All right. So let me know if I'm talking too fast. I tend to do that. Okay, so this is where I'm going to bring in Lisa. For those of you who have not virtually or physically met Lisa, she is on the call right now. Lisa Cavalli, she had this wonderful idea. She had this vision, and, she chose us and made us part of, this vision. So Lisa Cavalli, the floor is yours. She's our peer.
Hi, everybody. So sorry for 1 sec. I'm in at headquarters today in Florida. I've been working this week, and the gals that I'm working with in the headquarters office are just asking if they want to pick up something for lunch from me. So I have to say yes. Pick up anything. So ladies, it's so great to see everybody. Pick up anything. So great to see everybody. Thank you for sticking around this last year. BELatina has found an amazing home at Brandstar. And I believe there's some slides that'll be behind for you guys to review. You know, this is my second time platform, so everything I learned with BELatina, I've brought over to Brandstar, or brought over to BELatina. Sorry, I just have like all these messages coming in. I'm like, what's going on? Anyway, so BELatina has found an amazing home at Brandstar, and Brandstar has created multiple TV shows on Lifetime, Balancing Act, Military Makeover, Designing Spaces, and they had tried to integrate a Hispanic show in the past. Didn't work at the time. They knew that they wanted to get into this marketplace, as you know, they are a very diverse community and diverse culture. So we connected with them last year. It was sort of slow going in the beginning. However, you know, the results of where we are have been amazing. So the studio here in Miami, and I'm just having to plug into my computer because it just came undone. The studio's in Deerfield Beach, and they've built out this crazy wall. So I'm not sure if any of you have seen The Mandalorian, but they have the same technology in their studio that The Mandalorian was filmed on. It's like this wall of green screen. So they are known as innovators and leaders in brand integration and education. So with that, they are producing a lifestyle TV show that will be out in Q4. That will be loosely, I'm just trying to think the best way to say it, loosely off of the platform that we've developed. But it's going to be a brand integrated program. They have signed an LOI with Anchor Talent, and more to come out when that has been released. So I'll share that with you guys. But you know, other than that, I'm super excited to be part of the Brandstar team, and I hope you guys are as well. So more information will be coming down the pike about that. I'm still going to stay in California for now. I've got some things that I need to wrap up there, but I might be heading this way. I'd probably say in the next 6 months, which is exciting.
Thank you, Lisa. And yes, it is very exciting, you know, just going off of what Lisa said, you know, I'm going to go ahead and, you know, this is a Brandstar at a glance, you know, they were founded in 1994. They, you know, they have over 200 people, you know, working with them. They work with 65% of Fortune 500 companies. So, you know, they really are excited, you know, to have, you know, a little bit of a vision into, you know, this new project. So I think that is exciting. And then, you know, this is, you know, a little bit of headquarters. Okay. And again, this is in Florida. Just, you know, I know that all of you are all in different places of the world, but at least so you can see just a tad bit, right? All right. And now, going back to, you know, what our expectations are in BELatina. And 1 second, someone is trying to come in. It's Yvette. Give it a moment. Let me let her in. Okay. So when we are writing content, and I don't know if sometimes you're wondering, who is this article for? You know, that should be, you know, that number one question. Who is it that we're writing for? And, you know, this is pretty much our audience, you know. our audience is often, 34% is foreign born, 66% is US born, and then, 1.5 and 2.0 generations, which is, I'm from the 1.5 generation because I immigrated into the United States when I was less than 10 years old. I was three. And then you have, those who are born in the United States with at least one foreign born parent. Nonetheless, it's, people who are trying to find their place, in the world, trying to see who relates to their, unique stories. And, something that I love doing is when we, post these cultural pieces and, in BELatina, and we get all these comments. Oh, I thought I was the only one. Oh, I didn't know that everyone else was going through that. And, it makes me happy because sure, entertaining content or silly content is necessary because, if we're going to get serious all the time, if people are going to feel like we're regañándolos, right? Like we're telling them, no, 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 don't do that. But these cultural pieces, is where our audience, resonate the most with us. So I think, that's amazing. And then, of course, we also have, our audience is predominantly college graduated. They're between the ages of 18 through 42. They're bilingual, bicultural. And, these are things that all of us, not only, are we writing for our audience, oftentimes we're writing for ourselves. I don't know if you've ever felt that, a particular piece has been almost cathartic, right? You're like, okay, hello, childhood traumas. Why am I writing about this? But let's see how the world perceives it. And, and it feels refreshing when other people kind of see your points, right? And then, of course, as anything, you're going to have those opposing your views. And whenever that does happen, I don't want anyone to feel discouraged because if we didn't have, the good of both worlds, then, I think that would be a scary place, right? We want to make sure that we're constantly providing these thought-provoking pieces, right? We have an intelligent audience, and the more that we allow them to think, the more I feel that they're gonna come back. We're not providing empty content. So that's something that I feel very proud whenever I see your stories. Okay, so. And of course, and before I get into submissions, talking about stories, just remember that the story, storytelling is the most important part, of BELatina. It's, um, taking away, the logistics and so on and so forth, telling your story properly, try to intertwine your emotions in a properly and way in a proper writing way. It's what makes us different from our competitors, so I think that's amazing. And now submissions. So this is so we can all be on the same page, our format, our template, and last but not least, submitting. So our format. So typically, and for the most part, the format that we utilize the most are either evergreens or long format features, okay? Evergreens, once more, is 400 minimum words to 600 words, whereas we have the long formats of 1,000 to 2,000 words. Typically, we have some that do write a little bit more. And if, you do make it a little bit longer, just make sure that, it's thoughtful, in which for the most part it is when some of you write more than 2,000 words. So 1 second, give me a moment. Okay, good. All right, so this is the template, and I'm going to give everyone access to the template in a folder that I just recently created. And you want to go ahead and paste this above your article. Okay, you're not going to fill all of this out, okay, at all, because Yamili will do the majority of it. But the reason why we have this template is because it makes things just a little bit easier, and it allows us, to post the content, in a timely manner. Okay, so let's go ahead. Like I said, Yamili who is, the senior editor, and you're gonna hear from her momentarily. She will be doing the vast majority of this template. All you're responsible for is just your title, and of course, your title can be a working title. At the end, the editorial team will decide if we go ahead and change the title so it can meet, SEO standards, so on and so forth. So if your title is ever changed, don't think it was, oh, what is, no, it's just, we're trying to make sure that we elevate our content as much as possible, and that, is, searchable. And then, your name, the editor, Jamili, is going to write her name there. You can write her name. Content type. So there you're going to tell me, is this an evergreen or a long format feature, right? Word count. So you're going to tell us how much. And then tags and keywords. All right. So now, so submitting, before you go ahead and you click send on that email, you just want to make sure that you're meeting deadlines, right? So you want to think about your deadline first. Okay, did it meet the deadline? Did it not? And of course, I know things happen. I know certain things, in our lives, are not predictable. So if you ever do feel like you're gonna be late on your deadline, just email me. And all of you know that for the most part, I'm super flexible. So just let me know. Just give me a heads up. Hey, just saw this happen. Okay, sure. And that gives me the opportunity to go ahead and move things around properly, right? Because, and the reason for deadlines, so I do want to say, the underlying reason is because, in our calendar, we want to make sure that each day has a specific focus. Okay. So that way we have continuity as well, right? So, and then of course, proofread, just a quick proofreading from whatever word processor you use, either Microsoft Word or Google Docs. And then if you want to go the extra mile, you can go ahead and, add the Grammarly extension to your bar, and that's going to allow, for another set of eyes, right, through that Grammarly program. I believe that if it's for personal use and just like the most basic of Grammarly is free. Okay, so you can, if that's something that interests all of you, definitely go for it. And then, after you've thought about your proofreading, after you've seen that there's minor grammatical errors and whatnot, then go ahead and email it to us. You email it to me, and then Jamili will definitely be editing your pieces. And then in terms of editing, sometimes she might switch, certain things around. Again, it has nothing to do with your writing. It's just making sure that it flows, in the best possible way. That way you get the most recognition, right? So, and like Suzanne has told me, a good writer always needs a good editor. So that's definitely something that, to take into consideration. And then this is an ideal submission. Of course, the article will be below the template. And this is all, you're going to go ahead and fill out. And then something that I also would like for all of us to start doing is making sure that when you title your piece, whatever you save it, please put your first letter, the first letter of your name, followed by your last name, a dash, and then the title. Okay, and again, this is only going to help us to organize and look for your article in an easier way, right? Because sometimes we're like, where's their article? And, we're looking for it. It's because, it was missing the name, which happens. I'll go ahead and I'll do it as well. But if you can't do it, then by all means, okay? Now, a brief overview on SEO, which this now is going to go to our amazing senior editor, Jamili. I know some of you, well, she's CC'd and some of you have virtually met her, but here, get to know her a little bit more. Jamili, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Harpa. It's really great to see you all, guys. Great to see you, Janet. We've been talking for years now, and it's great to see your face again, Erika, and all the girls. I wanted to just add a little bit of info before we dive into the SEO. For me, it's really helpful whenever you fill your template, not only because of all the information, but because I can have a better perspective of where you're writing the article from. I mean, if you give me your headline, even if your headline is going to switch because of SEO matters, I have a better understanding of where you're standing on your article, and I can organize and try to keep your voice as intact as possible when I'm editing. In order to have our articles tracking on Google, and this is a really This is a really tricky thing because we're all subjected to the Google gods. We have to organize our content in certain ways so we can please the Google tracker, so our content shows up at least in the first page of our results. If our articles don't show up in the first page of our results, if you people you know it as users, we never go, or we hardly ever go to the second page of a Google search. So this is where SEO comes in. The search engine optimization is a strategic strategy for us to build our articles and our content as more tracking friendly as possible. I know most of you are creative writers, and to optimize our content from a really well written article to an SEO, sometimes I have to do changes. If you guys have seen it, I swear I try my best to keep your voice, to keep your writing, to not touch it. But sometimes I have to do certain changes so we can please the SEO structure. That's why we ask you on the templates to add the tags that you have used to write your articles and the keyword that you think it summarizes your article the best way. The tags are usually inside your headline or inside the main idea that you have of your article when you draft your headline. Like the Juan Gabriel and Ana Gabriel article, it has their names, but it's usually tagged to Latinx icons music, for example. But the keyword that I was using in that case was Juan Gabriel and Ana Gabriel, because that's when people are specifically looking for that in Google, this should be the article that pops up. And that's why I try to use that keyword, at least, well, that depends on the density of your article, but at least 4 to 5 times in a really organized way, so it moves all around your content and it doesn't look like a scam, because people sometimes do that on their blogs. Like they overfill their content with keywords just to track, but their content is worthless. That's something that we don't do in BELatina for obvious reasons. Why are keywords so important? I think I have an example with Erika's content. For example, your content is really thought-provoking, is really reflective. I really love to read your articles. I'm always looking from the perspective in the article. But sometimes in the first 4 paragraphs, I'm still looking for what are we going to talk about. So that's when I go to the template and I look for the text that you've been using and the keyword that you've been using, so I can reorganize your article. More often than not, and I'm sorry about this, I find your lead and I put it up, because the Google gods ask us that our first keyword must be in the first paragraph. So I sometimes change that, and just for you to know. In other articles, like our trending articles or our evergreen articles, it's easier because the content is shorter. So the keyword can move up and down. Why is this so important? I can do this and this is my job and I love to do it. But for you girls, it's really important to have a keyword in your head to see exactly what are you writing about and who are you writing it for. If we're writing about a Latino film festival, for example, there are around 20 to 25 Latino film festivals in the United States that happen more or less at the same time. So how are we going to make our article relevant in the matter? So we look for that keyword that will make it specific and different. My job will be to make your article bulletproof on SEO. You guys just have to help me out a little bit with your keywords and keep it always in mind. There are a lot of tools that you can use online, but most of them are not free. So what I suggest is that whenever you're writing or doing the research for your article, the keywords are the one that Google suggests when you type it in. That's the best way of searching for keywords. Again, this is something that it's my job and I don't want you guys to be overwhelmed with this, but always to keep it a little bit in mind. Whenever you see changes, whenever you see that your article just pops up in a specific search in Google, just to keep that in mind.
Thank you, Jamili. And that was amazing information and very informative. So we're learning a lot today. And again, all of this is procedural information. And I know, Vanessa Jimenez, your spiel is the social media, but, this is a learning opportunity for you as well.
No, yeah, it's great. I love this.
Yes, and everyone, Vanessa Jimenez, the one who has been, keeping our social media on point. So super excited for that. And now, our editorial Bible, super duper importante. That's it. This is our daily bread. This is our, our water, whatever is important to you. This is it. You, whenever you have some questions, or whenever you're doubting something in regards to, what your expectations are, or what you should be focusing on, just go ahead and, read the editorial Bible, take a few, bullet points from it whenever possible. In other words, live, breathe, eat your editorial Bible. No, just kidding. But that's, pretty much what I wanted to give all of you. And now AP style, and there's different types of writing styles. We have the MLA, we have the APA, so many, the Chicago style. But for us, we do like, to focus on the AP style. Again, Jamili and I will definitely make sure that your article is always on point. But just some quick little reminders, so you can remember, we do use the Oxford comma here at BELatina, and I was trying to see how I can explain this the best way possible. And I used to be a high school teacher, and it's just, the coordinating conjunction. So I don't know, fanboys. So if you can think about that, if, the conjunction is in the middle, it's always going to have, that Oxford comma. Okay. So that's like the little tip that I give myself at all times. Titles of movies, books, magazines, TV shows, CDs are always italicized. Again, if they're not, and if you forget, I don't want you to worry about it. Don't stress about it. We'll just go ahead and do it for you as well. But, just so you can be aware of these little tiny rules. And then titles of songs, article names, TV episodes are in quotation marks. Okay. And then another important part is, be sure to cite and link the original source. You all know this. We want to make sure that in our articles we have at least two sources, and and if possible, go ahead and try to see if you can backlink to BELatina as well. Aside from your other sources, okay. That are going to further make a point for your article and whatever you're trying to convey to the audience. Okay. And then, as we continue to grow, we're already, I believe, 2 years old. We're about, not terrible tools, these are wonderful tools, but we want to continue to grow, right? We want to continue to get recognized, and people are starting to notice us. People are like, oh, BELatina. I know that, random people are emailing me about, oh, I heard about you guys. So they're reading your articles, everyone. They're noticing your articles, they're people are having conversations about your thoughts. So that's so amazing. But in order for us to continue that growth, and which is incrementing, and is going up, just share it away. It is important that you feel pride in your work, feel pride in BELatina. We are our brand, we are BELatina. So if you can tweet, like it, share it on Instagram, Facebook, email it, print it out, send it out to your family members. But like, just get the word out. It's pretty much. Or another thing that you can do before I leave this one, comment underneath the social media posts, because it allows other people, to organically stumble upon our posts, so we can get into the explore page, right? So, if maybe you're not someone who utilizes social media as much, to sharing or to your personal account, which I understand, just give it a comment below, right? An emoji, whatever the case may be. Okay, so thank you. And then this is, our invoicing. I know I sent out an email recently about invoicing, and I just want to make sure that we have everything as organized as possible, because invoicing, this is important. This is how you get paid. So this, and I'm going to share this with you again. Like, I updated a little bit more than the one that I originally sent. And this is how an invoice could look like. You don't necessarily have to use this template. This is just an example. You know, I know some of you already had met, you know, the invoice requirement, which is making sure that you have your name, your address, you know, and, you know, appropriate dates for when this invoice pertains to. One second. Okay, so I'm going to be sharing with that shortly. And if you want to go ahead and make it your own, by all means, go for it, okay? And then something that this couldn't be possible without any of you. You are BELatina. You are all amazing. I love reading your stories. I love when people comment underneath your things. They're like, oh my God, I love this. You know, I'm a proud mama, okay? So thank you so much. And any comments or questions? Now the floor is all of yours. Go for it. Not all at once now. Be careful.
So thank you, Giselle. This was really great, and I really appreciate you taking the lead on putting this together. So Giselle has been appointed our senior deputy editor and is a full-time employee now of Brandstar. So you know, part of the merger was or is bringing on Giselle full-time, which I'm super grateful. You know, you guys have really stuck it out with BELatina, and I really appreciate that. But it's really comforting for me to know that I have Giselle here and by my side and representing us as BELatina with Brandstar as well. She'll be here a couple days a week in the headquarters office, and I'll probably be coming out once a month. So what I find that with this acquisition of this platform, they are so excited and so embracing and really look to us as the experts in this area right now. So thank you, and it's all because of you guys.
Thank you, Lisa. Yeah, so comments, questions, you guys, this is a safe space, I promise.
Someone had a question in the chat. Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
If any of you are, you know, don't want to speak up, you know, because of audio or whatever, you can also type it in the chat by all means, you know.
I just have a quick question.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. When we're submitting stock photos and or photos that we've taken, does sending them in a Google Drive work? Is that best, or is there a different preferred method?
Well, yeah, you can definitely send it through a Google Drive, but if you can paste it within the article,
okay,
yeah, that will work too. Thank you so much, Vanessa Diaz. And everyone, we have, you know, 3 Vanessas in our team. So yeah, we're the Vanessa team. You know, y'all didn't know, but I'm just so Vanessa. No, just kidding. But we have Vanessa Diaz, who just spoke. We have Vanessa Jimenez, our social media guru. And then we have Vanessa Corduniu, which is the Biz Bruja, and she is going to, for the time being, you know, be writing a little bit about the stars and the horoscope. So it's pretty exciting with the Vanessas here.
Vanessa Diaz.
Yes.
In case you're gonna send us your pictures, you can suggest a caption as well. If you want us to give you full credit for the picture, or if you want to add it as a stock photo, that would help us out a lot. Nice.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Hi, guys. I just have a comment, something that I've been noticing recently, and I don't know if anyone else is experiencing this, but a lot of people that I've worked with, like PR reps or marketing firms who represent either people I've interviewed or stories I've written, have reached out to me after the fact, saying how much they love the article and the content that we're putting out there, and asking if we can set up a meeting to talk about other future ideas. You know, so they can then go back and be like, oh, I have all these other clients and they would also be good fits for stories and things that they want us to share. So I think that's a sign, like you said, Giselle, that like our work is getting recognized. People are actually paying attention to it and enjoying it and wanting to be a part of the community we're building and the content we're putting out there. And it's just in the past like 2-3 months, I feel like I've gotten a lot of people reaching out to me, just asking what we're working on, if we have any ideas, if they can come to me with other clients and potential content. And I think that's awesome. And I love it. And it feels like the work that we're doing, you know, it's a different kind of rewarding, because not only are they happy about the finished product as something that we worked on together, but they want more. So I don't know if anyone else is experiencing that, but I've noticed that a lot recently, and I think it's incredible. And I'm super proud to be a part of this team.
That's fantastic.
That's definitely what I was saying, that, you know, people are excited to read BELatina, and, you know, it's all of you, you know, all of you in those squares right now, it's you, you know. I know Yvette joined us. Is she still here? Where's Yvette? There you go. Okay. Yeah, so we had Yvette who joined later, and then Jeanette, this is the first time we actually meet each other, so it's definitely great, you know, to see
I
you.
know. Hi. Finally.
Okay. So does anyone else have any comments, questions, suggestions? You know, feel free, you know, to know that this is, you know, a space where your ideas are valued, you know.
I wanted to let you girls know that my email is always open, and I actually have no problem whatsoever sharing my WhatsApp. I live in France, so trying to communicate through phone call if you're in the United States, it's not really possible. But if you guys have any questions, suggestions, or even complaints about the way of the edit and of the way of your articles has been laid out, please don't ever hesitate. I mean, I welcome and I actually love criticism. I prefer constructive, but you know, yeah.
Because I was about to say, really, Jamili?
I actually do. What do you imply?
Nothing.
No, but again, if sometimes I have to write some H2 titles in the middle of your articles, and sometimes I have to improvise certain things. And if you guys, I would really like your feedback if you see your article, because it's your name that is at the end of the article, at the top of the article. I want you guys to be as satisfied and as happy with your and proud of your article as I am when I'm posting it. So feel free to write to me, to send me emails, to shout out. I mean, Janet knows better than anyone that I reply better if you write to me through WhatsApp than if I do it through email. But it's just because I'm distracted sometimes. So yeah, it's my doors are open for any kind of suggestions or idea.
Yeah, no, definitely. And
If I can just say something, can anybody hear me?
yes, yes.
Yeah, hi everybody. I just wanted to like, I guess being the older journalist and the old fart in this issue, I wanted to just impress on people that SEO is not the only thing that you should be considering when you're writing an article. If you are a good journalist, if you're a proper writer, you know how to do it. But it will be good content, solid writing that will get you through. I can tell, I can see, I write for NBC Think also, which is a very progressive site. And they're very intelligent in the way they do it. I worry that you will concentrate only on SEO and burden your leads with the keywords and forget that the content, that proper, solid writing is what really will get you through. And the other thing that I have to say is that we live in very interesting times. These are times where you have to also address the social and political changes in the architecture of this country. You know, so it would what I would love to see in any website that is geared to Latinas that I think is missing is investigative reporting to give people time to actually build content that means something, that is directed at an issue that we embrace and that we attempt to make a difference. I know this is really hard, and I know that we have to consider SEO and how this digital world works. I understand that. Super. I build my leads when I write with that in mind. But what I'm saying on the other side of the coin is let's not only concentrate on what we think is going to be picked up by Google, because Google will pick up Kardashian, but maybe it won't pick up, some other content that is extremely important for our viewership. I know this is a discussion that is being had in a lot of different places, a lot of different venues, such as BELatina. And I wanted to bring it up because people are kind of like going, yes, SEO, but we're missing out. So it's a very fluid argument. So bear that in mind, that also there might be a story that you don't see anywhere, but it'll be picked up because of the content and the issue that it embraces and focuses on. Because as we said, the BELatina right now lives in a new home in very interesting times. These are going to be very interesting times as to what is happening in this country and worldwide as such. So that's just my 2 cents. Yes, bear in mind SEO. This is my personal opinion. Yes, bear in mind SEO, but do not make it the be all and end all, because then you will lose sight of those stories that you can build that will actually make BELatina different. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's a kind of a balancing act. That's just my opinion.
No,
No,
and
absolutely,
go ahead.
Suzanne, and thank you for saying that, because the years that I have been building the BELatina to BELatina, I have faced, the issues that you're talking about right now. When I was working with an inbound marketing company, they wanted us to write this content for B2B, right? And we are not a B2B, and we are a B2C, meaning business to business versus business to consumer. And how we have navigated through that. And this is one of the things that I was reminding Yumili about, is that I think the most important thing for us is the titles. Yes, if we have the keyword repeated throughout the article, we are not writing to drive SEO. That's not what we're writing about. When I was speaking to the first inbound agency that I was working about, they didn't know how to work with us because we were a news and information site, and you can't SEO that stuff. You just can't. However, getting around that was, and this is a behind the scenes that many of you don't know about. When I do big campaigns, I create landing pages that I have certain content that hits certain keywords that you may not see, but I'm driving people there because we need eyeballs on the site in order to fulfill these campaigns. So, and that's primarily evergreen content that not a lot of you see. But Suzanne is 100% right. We cannot ignore or drive our story ideas for SEO. That's not what we do.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
So-
And I wanted to, I'm 100% agree with Suzanne. But also I wanted to give you guys the example of the best articles written in specific topics that always pop up, being written by the New York Times, Washington Post, LA Times, and they are not SEO fully. They're not completely writing towards the SEO. Their power is the content, and what I hope we can do in the next year is to find the perfect content. That's what you girls do, and we will work behind the scenes trying to polish your headlines. And if I move one thing a little bit, it's not because I don't touch your content. The content is there, your writing is there. I just do cosmetic changes here and there.
Yeah,
But yeah,
no,
absolutely.
and I know that, and you've done great. I mean, it's a balancing act. I'm not saying that we shouldn't consider it. No, yeah, I mean,
No.
because we have to live in this digital world, but let's not forget that we cannot write for SEO. Now, the other thing I
Exactly.
wanted to say for what I find super excited about BELatina is the following. We have the chance to get to capture that voice that nobody is paying attention to, really paying attention to, which is the Latina female voice. If you look at the numbers of what pushed the Latino vote, and remember that we are not monolithic. So you're talking about Puerto Riqueño, Cubano, Mexicano, Venezolano, Colombiano, God forbid that I forget Colombia. But what has pushed it to a large degree the Biden victory in terms of the Latino vote were the women. And nobody, if you look at the sites, and I've studied other sites, and because I write for other sites, I see how they, how little they understand about who we are. We have the chance to capture that voice. It's like capturing the kingdom. But in order to do that, I think, the way that Giselle and Yamili and Lisa are approaching this is the correct one, which is a mixed salad, which is we have entertainment, we have fluff, we have interesting articles, and then we have maybe one strong article. And the if you look at the 60-minute strategy, and I know this is television, but digital is kind of like television in a way, except it's not visual, but it will be because you stream. But if you look at the 60-minute strategy, is 3 soft, 1 hard, 3 soft, 1 hard, and it works. A lot of people have said, oh my God, that's an old strategy, but what works works. So what I'm really excited about with this new opportunity is that I think that BELatina can actually be the voice of record for the Latina women who have not found a place to express themselves. Because if you look at the New York Times, if you look at the LA Times, if you look at Huffington Post, if you look at NBC Think, if you look at all the other ones that are out there, the real essence of who we are is not portrayed. And I see it more and more in BELatina. So that's also the exciting part about it. And I think, and again, I stress that it's not that not to write for SEO. Of course, we have to consider it, but think of it as a balance, as a mixed salad. You know what I mean? That's it. And I'll shut up now. Bye.
And yes, always your input is always valued. So thank you so much. And yes, guys, like I was saying earlier, storytelling, that's the beat. Storytell. And we did mention a little bit of the SEO just so you guys can be a little bit aware of that, but don't overwhelm yourselves with that at all. Continue what you're doing. All of you are doing amazing. Don't you doubt it. Okay. And if you ever wake up thinking, oh my God, why did I turn that in? You turned in something wonderful. Okay. And remember, Suzanne has told me that a writer is always learning and is always working on their craft. We're never going to be, that, optimal top writer, we're always going to be working towards becoming better and better and better until the end of our days. So it's fun. It's exciting. That's where we're going.
The other thing I was gonna tell you is that as I pontificate to Giselle all the time because I'm an old fart and I've been at this for a long time. Not that I'm very good at it, but that's just it. Is read, research, look. There's a story that has captured my attention and I can't get away from it. In this COVID-19 pandemic, and I've been doing a lot of work with the Hispanic community in terms of COVID-19. There's a story nobody has touched, and it is the grandmothers and grandparents that have had to take care of little children because A, somebody else got sick, B, the parents are incapable of taking care of them. So you have the most vulnerable taking care of the most vulnerable. And I look at the New York Times and I look at the LA Times and I look at these places, the Washington Post, they supposedly are the bastions, which I believe they no longer are, but whatever. And they don't address those stories. Those are the stories that I encourage you to look for. That story that you see and nobody else has really called attention to. That's what's going to make us important. Let's drive the traffic because of the power of our stories also. The other thing is 2 years. Ay Dios mío, the elections in 2 years, which are the, help me here, Lisa.
Midterm election.
Midterms. This is crucial. This is key. And the Latino community is key. They're use me. I have tons of sources on the ground that are working with the grassroots organizations mobilizing the Latino vote. Let's not lose sight of the political stories. Let's not lose sight of the social stories. But the one with the grandmothers, if any of you have information, if you know of someone, if you have a source, just shoot it my way, because I'm fascinated by the, well, fascinated. I've been hearing a lot on the COVID line from grandparents, a lot. People that are scared, people that don't know, and a lot of them are Hispanic, a lot of them are African American, a lot of them are Asian, a lot of them are Middle Eastern. So, you've got a whole diversity out there, where if you address a story that pertains to Latin Americans or Hispanics, it will also transfer to other minority communities in this country. That's all.
I'll
Absolutely.
take, you're absolutely right, Hefa. I'll take the the la idea on the political content in our website. Usually that's my responsibility, and we've agreed that we're going to, after the elections, after the new administrations, we were going to take a deep breath and we reorganize our editorial schedule, just to take us a small breath of fresh air, reorganize all of our content, and I promise we'll go back to the politics in our website closer to the midterm elections. You're absolutely right, Hefa.
Yeah.
But I would also like to encourage those kinds of stories as well, not only about the abuelos that are taking care of kids during the pandemic, but also going back to uh, debunking this idea of the monolith in the Latino community. I mean, if we're going to talk about culture, music, uh, artistry, cosmetics, beauty, try to take a look at what's going on in other places, not only Mexico or the border. Go as far as to La Patagonia, and we have a lot of culture back in the continent that we have to highlight. From trans activists in Peru trying to get to Congress, to indigenous populations trying to survive in Brazil. We have a lot of content out there, so I encourage you girls to go as far as you can with all. Open your scope, because if we're going to be that platform that tells the story that nobody's telling, then we better do it completely. There are a bunch of stories out there.
Just to hit on the politics side, my initiative was just to pull back a little bit on politics, because I was so tired of having our site consumed with Trump, and I just couldn't do one more thing. So yes, so we are going to head back into politics a little bit with a different angle. So yeah, so sit tight. But I totally agree, Suzanne. I was just so over it.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I know that we are running out of time, but before we log off, I'm going to go ahead and send the link in the chat where it's going to should take you to the resources that I was talking about earlier. The BELatina News resources, where you're going to have access to the editorial Bible, the article template, and the BELatina invoice template sample. So if you can go ahead and click on that and let me know if it did open up for all of you. I'll also be sending it via email as well. So let me know if that works out.
Yeah, it works for me.
It works for you, Vanessa? Okay,
Thank you,
Lisa.
I got it.
Vanessa Jimenez. And
Okay, yeah, so I have another meeting like in 3 minutes. So I just wanted to wrap this up by saying thank you so much. And I really appreciate, the the survivalists that we've had since our last big Zoom over a year ago. And appreciate you. And I know our readers appreciate us. As you guys had, Suzanne had said as well, we are at that place where people are coming to us for their daily content and their daily stories, like really good stories. So just keep it up. We're not changing our voice of our site. Just feel comfort in that. And just we're excited. We're excited to the new resources that that we are given here. And we're gonna look at the next steps with BELatina.
Yes, yes. And okay, better work. Thank you so much, Lisa, for, definitely, creating this platform. And I'm so excited to see everyone's work continue, to glow. So thank you, thank you. And I know a lot of us are, trying to get those Bad Bunny tickets. So let's go ahead and so, time is ticking. So ladies, we'll definitely meet again. I'll let you know with time and we'll plan again. All right. It was a pleasure seeing all of your faces.
You too.
Oh,
Thanks,
Seeing you
guys.
guys.
thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
And thank you, Vanessa Diaz. Absolutely. Mándame un email, okay? Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.